Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me here in such a prestigious event. Special thanks to you, Jersey, for introducing me to the audience. The time given to me is limited, and therefore I will adjust my performance adequately. The coal plant retirement wave is being driven primarily by the cost of complying with the new environmental regulations and the increasingly unfavorable economics of running coal plants. Some of the retired plants have successful stories, but some of them are abandoned power plants that are a nightmare not only for the owners, but also for state governments. I will be pleased to discuss with you my input into this discussion beyond the decommissioning theme. Decommissioning is unattractive as long as it is considered as an end of the era of the coal power plants. To make it attractive for the attendees, I would like to discuss the repowering of the coal power plants with the environmentally friendly technologies within the phase-out. We are suggesting sustainable technical and economical solutions for infrastructure, reuse of the facilities, and development of the region. For favor of the stakeholders, employees, and local governments and public. After the plant shuts down, the site will progress through dismounting, remediation, and redevelopment. It helps to know site reuse options early in the process and understanding the range of reuse options and needs associated with the development of realistic time schedule and cost estimate. I would like to share a presentation with you. So here we go. Because the time is limited, I'm going to not to discuss this chart with you now. Nevertheless, I would like to mention that according to the IEA report, the electricity demand growth in Europe is in such amount, and in the United States is in a greater amount. But in comparison with the growth in the world, in particular in China, India, or in Asia as a whole, it seems that the growth is here really small. However, the penetration into the grids from the renewable sources is huge everywhere, in Europe, in the world, and Asia, and also in the United States. And that is important for our concept, because our value input for our clients is a technically reasonable and financially affordable concept for the repurposing potentials of coal-fired plants and operating perspectives for coal region in transition beyond of the coal-out phase. In our concept contributes to the economic, social, and environmental development of coal regions in transition that innovates and triggers investment in environmentally friendly technologies, with considerable use of governmental and EU funding. Governmental and EU funding. From EU funding, I would like to mention the open one at this time, which is the EU Innovation Fund, and the other, like Modernization Fund and Just Transition Fund. From the big amount of environmental governmental funding, I'm here mentioning the German government stimulus funding of 2 billion to build up partnership with other countries regarding hydrogen. It's a so-called Hydrogen Alliance. There is also a possibility to combine the governmental funding and EU funding with other fundings like cohesion funding, or if appropriate, also Connecting Europe facility. We are prioritizing the following. I mean, in our concept, secure the electricity supply. We all know that in the increased use of renewable energy sources creates two main problems balancing the systems. And substituting the production when there is no production from the renewable sources, or where the production is not sufficient to cover the grid demands, and definitely the stabilization of the grid. Most problems have a common denominator, the availability of backup capacities that can balance or substitute productions from renewable sources. In such a retrofit, we will definitely save the highly qualified jobs and save the investment. Specific site conditions and objectives are defining our concept, like PPAs, district heating agreements, or agreements for district heating, nearby industry, existence of towns and cities in the vicinity of the plant, coal mines, and already existing renewable power generation by implementing solar, where is this suitable. So what we do, we implement the solar or wind where it is suitable on the land of the owners, or in the asset of the owners, also on the buildings, especially solar. Then we are investigating the possibility to employ a bulk energy storage for utilizing the surplus energy. We have a practical experience in turning the strategies into the real projects, in particular with the molten salt bulk energy storage within the CSP industry. By the way, we are pioneers of the CSP and ISCC industry worldwide, as well as for hydrogen. So we develop projects how to use hydrogen for power generation. Furthermore, we are dealing with central hydrogen productions for blending hydrogen into the natural gas piping, mainly for transportation for longer distances, or using hydrogen for carbon ducts for a reduction in power generation. Here I would like to mention the use, for example, together with the gas turbine combined cycle plant, because it seems nowadays that the gas turbine combined cycle can easily replace the coal power plants because all the infrastructure is in place. And in our concept, we are even able to reduce the CO carbon dioxide through producing the power from hydrogen. Furthermore, as the central hydrogen productions, we are investigating the possibility of using it for the upcoming mobility, for the existing or new industry. Definitely, industrial heat is a theme. It is worth it to mention it that for some regions or sites, also hydrogen for producing ammonia for agriculture fertilizer may be interesting. Well, smart cities is a different story. Smart city is I want to draw your attention to the opportunity to support cities in installing and operating renewables built within the smart cities projects. And the surplus energy may be stored either in the bulk energy storage or can be used for hydrogen production. Here is the possibility, if we are going to talk about a smart city, to get a funding for the smart city and to combine it with the EU funding, for example, for from the Innovation Fund, or even if we do the project properly, if we can combine it with the Cohesion Fund. You may feel already now that this retrofit, with all these technologies introduced here, will definitely trigger the need of the smart grid and the digitalization. I'm not going to talk now about these two topics furthermore, but all up, technologies, I mean, all of them, may be suitable for a certain site only, or for a number of sites, depending on different criteria, like legal issue, technical issue, and market perspective. Market perspective, for example, for hydrogen is now in Germany with the laws and so on and so on. Well, I'm in the time limit, and I hope I put a dent in the coal phase out. Unfortunately, it is also a time to say goodbye. Thank you for your attention, and I'm handing over the floor back to you, Jerzy.